ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your attention. It's late in the afternoon, and I probably should thank AMEC for putting the drinks on later to keep everybody here. Let me just work out the device. So this is the Jupiter Lithium and Critical Minerals project in Nigeria. I'll just go through the formalities, the usual disclaimer, speed reading exercise. Today we'll take you through a little bit of history of the mining developments in Nigeria, and then on to the Jupiter project itself, where we're at and where we're going in the next few years. But first of all, where are we? Nigeria. Yes, that well-known mining jurisdiction to us all. It's actually better known for the oil and gas industry, being the seventh largest of the global producers back in the 80s and 90s, which is what first took me to the country. But Jupiter and some other projects we're running in Nigeria are largely the results of experiences gained at Western Mining Corporation and other major mining houses in Australia. You remember WMC, Olympic Dam. Just the first, Olympic Dam was actually the first mining back one, was the first metals project to have a valuation of $1 trillion. So these were significant developments. So the Western Mining was purchased in 2004 by BHP, which is a pretty famous hostile takeover in the industry. But the same people were instrumental in realising the potential of the mineral wealth in Nigeria and helped Nigeria to establish the mining governance framework with the introduction of the Nigerian Mining Act in 2007, which used the best practice WA Mines Act as a guide. But sovereign risk is something we have seen a lot of recently with Atlantic Lithium in Ghana, AVZ in the DRC, and Barrick and Resolute in Mali, to name a few. Our message in Nigeria has simply been, don't change the rules and provide a stable environment for investors, which has been the case so far. A little bit about the bilateral investment treaty between the UK and Nigeria. It's a very important and something that I learnt back in the 90s when I was involved in LNG developments. Some of the largest corporations in the world have been operating successfully in Nigeria for over 70 years under these types of treaties. Our corporate structure is set up in a similar way, and we are following in their footsteps. So as a private UK company, we also have the added security of the bilateral investment treaty between the UK and Nigerian governments, which means that our ownership structure encapsulates this protection, and our Nigerian subsidiary companies are therefore protected interests, and the mining tenements are protected assets. The treaty is designed to make investing in Nigeria safe and attractive. I mention this because in most conversations with potential investors, the mention of the word Nigeria usually is the start of the end of the conversation. However, what we found, so what happened to the mining in Nigeria, and why isn't it as advanced as in some of its neighbouring countries and other parts of Africa? There could be many reasons, but arguably the two main reasons that mining didn't take off are that, one, due to the success of the oil and gas industry and other sectors perhaps becoming complacent, and secondly, the north was largely agriculture and widespread subsistence farming. And the only other activity was perhaps gold and gemstones, but of an artisanal nature and almost like an off-season activity when not sowing or harvesting. But following the mid-2000s review of the mining potential in the north by the government, the same ex-WMC people helped identify the potential mineral wealth. Their work resulted in the Titan Nickel project, which we'll look at briefly, the Jupiter Rare Earths and then the Jupiter Lithium, plus some other high potential, high grade mineral discoveries that we're currently working on. The world is changing and Nigeria has an important future in mining and clean energy. A quick look at the Titan project and the history of Jupiter. Jupiter actually started out as a nickel discovery, and it's not surprising that with WMC background that was the case. It's perhaps better known as the Nickel Balls project, and it's a new form of nickel in a metallic occurrence. The team, and this is an interesting one given discussions earlier today, the team developed and patented a process to extract the nickel from the silica matrix. It's a clean process that is technically ready to run a pilot plant today and then roll out at scale with the potential to transform nickel production globally. In the early assay work for the nickel exploration, most of which was conducted by NAGROM here in Perth, it revealed significant other critical minerals. But it was only after an extension of the exploration work that found spodumene in the outcrops around the nickel areas that the work on the nickel and rare earths became secondary. Lithium and spodumene was the new direction. We recognised the importance and potential of the nickel and rare earths and the plan to deal with these at a later stage. We expect that mostly they'll largely drop out in the spodumene concentrate and be contained in the tails, where they'll also be easier to deal with. But on the face of the results, we may have the opportunity to develop several other Tier 1 deposits.
The Jupiter project is a series of high-grade spodumene lithium discoveries in Nigeria. As Nigeria's first Tier 1 mining resource, Jupiter project will bring global significance to Nigeria. Located in the heart of the nation, Kaduna, this 462 square kilometre Jupiter lithium project is a cooperative venture between 3 Nigerian companies: Basin Mining, Comet Minerals and Range Mining.
Project Jupiter is a game changer in the Nigerian mining industry. Our objective is to see that this Jupiter project would put Nigeria on the global mining map.
The lithium occurs as very large outcrops, 40 to 70 metres above ground level. But on top of that, we have the predominant occurrence of lithium is as spodumene, which has a high lithium content. We're running around 2.4, 2.6% lithium at the Jupiter project. It's the first Tier 1 project in the mining sector in Nigeria. It will bring to the attention of the world that Nigeria has significant mineral assets and that these assets can be mined and developed. It will change the world's attitude towards investment in Nigeria to a far more positive position and transition Nigeria into a more diversified economy.
Jupiter project is a collaboration driven locally but focused internationally with one aim: to make Nigeria a key player in the electrification of the world in the 21st century and beyond.
It is a transformation.
A transformation. A transformation.
For Nigeria.
For Nigeria.
For Nigeria.
From Nigeria.
It's our future beyond oil.
Yeah, so I forgot to introduce the video. That was to bring the attention back to the Jupiter lithium aspects of the presentation. But the project, Jupiter is located about 100 kilometres northeast of Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, which has excellent international air access. The busy regional town of Kafanchan is on the northern edge of the lease areas. The road, rail, power and water are all accessible, as is a workforce that can be trained to adapt to the mining and process plant operations. The lithium occurs as spodumene in a typical LCT pegmatite. It outcrops 40 to 70 metres above the surrounding ground level. The average grade across the site, and rather incredibly based on what we know from the Australian deposits in particular, but our average grade is 2.4 to 2.6%, and it increases with depth. And you've seen from the video that it's actually sticking out of the ground. It's very different to pretty much anywhere else in the world. There's been considerable historical artisanal mining activity in the area, but that peaked in 22-23 when the lithium pricing was peaking, and certainly through the roof, you could say. But the activity has dropped off now as the prices come back. But that activity has also helped us to identify some of the 36 targets that we have. The map you see here is of the licence areas. They cover approximately 442 square kilometres just south of the town of Kafanchan, which is where the red cluster is on the northern edge of the map. The network of roads provides multiple access to the target sites, power lines and a rail corridor right through the middle of it, and all agreements and approvals are in place for mining to proceed. So President Trump could actually receive the truckload of lithium concentrate from Nigeria much quicker than he could get it out of the Ukraine or perhaps the DRC. So looking at the targets, on this map there's a bunch of small blue triangles. They're indications of the 36 targets that we have. The map area is about 25 kilometres wide and 25 kilometres north to south. So all these targets are very close. If it was in the Pilbara, you would have Pilgangora around about where the red cluster is, and you would have Wodgina on the southern border. We've got, in that area, we've got a total of 36 known targets. And early estimates from some of our independent Canadian geologists that were working on the project in very early days was that based on just 4 of those targets, which had been reasonably explored at the time, they put a figure of 32 million tonne resource estimate on that just based on 4. There were other visits by well-known lithium developers, and in 2023, anecdotally, their estimates were that we're looking at about an 80 million tonne resource from what was above ground. We've got a different view today, and let me explain. So this is one of the targets. We call it the Papa target. It's also known, and we've put some material on the website. We call it the Great Wall of Lithium. People that visit the site are just amazed by this. It's exposed over a 1.2 kilometre strike length, and it's open-ended. It's about 20 to 25 metres wide, and is about 5 to 10 degrees off the vertical. Anecdotally, and reported by local workers, some illegal drilling from a few years ago reported spodumene to a hole depth of 300 metres from at least 2 collars. This news was actually not surprising to us, but using that analogy, that would equate to a 22 million tonne resource estimate on Papa alone. The Juliet target. This is again a hub location, identified hub location, with multiple targets within 1 or 2 kilometres and about 5 to 10 minutes drive by road from the nearest town. This could easily be called the Great Mountain of Lithium. The strike is around 320 metres and again open-ended. The amazing thing about this is that it's actually about 60 metres wide at the surface. But using that same 300 metre depth, there's an 18 billion tonne resource estimate on the Juliet target. But following on from those 2 locations and using similar theory for the 36 targets that we have, we've aggregated all information available and to produce a conceptual resource using a block model suited to this outcropping nature of pegmatites and the blue sky expectations for these outcrops to extend to a depth of at least 500 to 700 metres, giving a conceptual estimate close to 250 million tonne. That puts it in certainly the top 10 of lithium projects around the world. And we've still got 55% of the area to be explored, and there's no reason to doubt further occurrences of critical minerals in a similar fashion. On the beneficiation side, our choice of processing is to concentrate, is to use simple DMS process plants designed in South Africa and proven to be reliable and efficient, with key features being low power, low water, and low chemical usage. The modular designs are for transportability and that can be easily relocated from target to target. Each modular plant can be delivered in 6 to 8 months, and there will be multiples of them, which improves the spares management and the improved plant reliability. That's all about being fit for purpose in Nigeria, fit for purpose and location. Similarly, there'll be no need for any heavy lifting and transport in the construction phase. The design is fit for purpose and location, and this allows us to achieve early production, to provide early cash flow, which in turn delivers lower costs. The 9 modular DMS plants will be rolled out across the sites and co-located into 4 operational hubs with a centralised management and supporting infrastructure network, which will reduce the costs and logistics all round. In total, we should be processing around 5 million tonne a year, producing 830,000 tonnes of SC6, and at a conservative $700 a tonne, that would be a 580 million per annum revenue stream. Collaboration, I'll move it because I see the time is up. With collaboration, we're an integral part of the Nigerian economy, and to deliver maximum results, we recognise the need to work and collaborate with others in the supply chain. This includes Nigeria's only EV manufacturer, and you can see they're not quite the EVs that you were expecting. However, if you consider there's 4 million units of these required for Lagos alone, the local demand and the potential is huge, not just in Nigeria, but spreading it across the African continent, and I can see certainly Indian and Southeast Asian opportunities for them. But we're working closely with our host communities, with the state government of Kaduna and other mining service providers in the area that and we're open to collaboration to find opportunities to add value to the local economy and to Jupiter. This is about Nigeria's future beyond oil. I'll skip through that. Going forward, we've got 3 main streams of activity. Our ongoing works with the communities and the community mining cooperatives that we're developing, the mining and concentrate production, and the JORC drilling program. This is really Nigeria's economic transformation away from oil and gas, and the Jupiter project is a world-class mining operation to enable that. I'll skip straight through to the end and say if there's anybody interested in discussing this further with us, then we're very keen to open the discussions and happy to hear from you. Thank you very much.